Good day everyone, this is Jarom from Sport and Spine. What we're going to do today is learn how to do a single leg squat. What this is useful for is for people that might be in the gym and looking to try and retrain their squat pattern, or for people that might be suffering with low back pain or knee pain or ankle pain or any of the lower limb kind of areas of pain. This helps for things like going to stand from a sitting position, all of those daily activities that you use a squat pattern for. So one of the reasons why we use a single leg is because you can't hide with a single leg. If you lose your balance, then you'll fall over. So if you can get balance in a single leg squat, then you can take two single legs together and have balance or proper position in a double leg squat. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the side, and we just want to try and pop that leg out the back so it's out of the way. And we want to try and find the leaning tower of Pisa position. So what I mean by that is the leaning tower leans from the base forward. So we're going to lean, and I usually put my hands behind my back just so I'm not tempted to use them to balance. What we're going to do is we're going to lean forward just until you feel the calf tighten, and then we're going to back up just a little bit until you feel the glute take that load. Now if you back up too far back onto your heel, you'll start to find that your foot will go flappy and you'll start to lose your balance. When you find the leaning tower of Pisa, you should have a nice stable foot. It should be nice and quiet, it's not flapping around too much. So we're finding the leaning tower going forward, and then we're just coming up, back up a little bit so that I can feel equal amounts of pressure between my big toe, my little toe and my heel. Now when I start to go into the single leg squat, what I want to do is allow my hips to drop down equal amounts of distance down and back as my shoulders drop down and forward. So if I'm just going to keep my shoulders relatively upright, then my hips shouldn't be shifting too far back. So I'll demonstrate what that looks like. So we're just going to drop down and forward, and you only want to go down to the position where you can maintain that pressure through the big toe, the little toe and the heel. So you shouldn't lose your balance too much. Now if I'm starting to wiggle around, it's because the weight's going too far forward to my toes. Or if I go too far back on my heel, I might start to lose my balance. So you know when that pressure is through those 3 points of contact, if your foot is nice and quiet and you've got a nice stable balance. Now what we want to try and do is maintain that big toe, little toe, heel, and on the way back up again, I'm going to drive those 3 points through the ground to come back up. Now what we don't want to see on that single leg squat when we're coming down is we don't want to lock the knee and then come back up like this. It should be one solid movement when I push through those 3 points of contact. So if I've got the right position, leaning tower Pisa, so forward, slightly back till I've got that load kind of coming over my glute. Now I'm going to drop my hips down and back and my shoulders down and forward, so I've got nice balance through my foot. And then when I get down to the bottom there, before I start to just bounce back up off the ground, I get my balance. I'm going to drive those 3 points of contact through the ground to come back up. Now the other part that you probably can't see from the side is what I really don't want to do when I get down into this position is allow my knee to shoot in. You'll notice that I lose my balance that way as well. So when we're doing it in this position here and we're going down into that single leg squat, I've got my leaning tower of Pisa and I'm coming down. I want to make sure that my knee is tracking over the front of my foot and not allowing that knee to shift in. And it always helps when you're doing a single leg squat if your foot is nice and square. So if you start off with your foot out in this position, you end up with a crooked ankle, crooked knee, and then your hip ends up shooting in as well. So what we want to try and do, when we've got our leaning tower of Pisa, coming forward, coming back, and then we're just going to track that knee over the front of the foot, and then driving those 3 points of contact down through the ground to come back up. Kia ora.